everybody. Thanks for coming out. That was We Be Jammin' by the great Frank Foster. It's part of a three-part suite. I don't remember the name of this suite. Remembrance Suite. Thank you. Remembrance Suite that I couldn't remember. And so we're going to continue on. Now we're going to do the second movement of this suite. And tonight you're going to hear from a whole bunch of different soloists. We're going to talk about that after this tune is finished, about how jazz is a little bit different than a lot of music that we hear. So, oh, you know what? Actually, I'm wrong. The next tune is not the second movement of the suite. The tune after that is. This tune is written by the great Tadd Dameron for Europeans only. Tadd Dameron was one of the architects of bebop, the music that changed American music. It changed how everything sounds, introduced more chromaticism. The great Quincy Jones said about the album Thriller, which changed pop music. He said, no bebop, no Thriller. And that's for sure. All the chromaticism, all those extra sounds that you're able to hear in this music. So we hope you enjoy. This is a blast to play. Here's for Europeans only. But mostly for Julian, and it's an honor to feature him on this tune. Great player and an even better person. So we hope you enjoy. Come on up here, young fella. And welcome, Julie. Very smile, Aaron Nunez on alto saxophone over there. The next tune features a whole bunch of different soloists. It's a great arrangement by Bill Holman, who we're celebrating. He recently passed away, and is really one of the great arrangers and composers in big band history. And one of the things that's fun to play about this tune, and there's a couple other tunes in the set that are like this, is they feature a whole bunch of different improvisers. When you can think of improvising in jazz, it's very similar to they're adding to the composition. So the improvisers in the band are composers when they play. And that's one of the differences between American music and music from other parts of the world. Things are more dictated in other musics largely, most of the time. Whereas in this one, with some of these guys, I have no idea what they're going to play before they play it, and in a good way. They surprise. Somebody said that jazz is the music of surprise. And as well it should be. Everybody collaborates, everybody works together on it. The rhythm section has to adjust to what the soloist is going to do, and vice versa. And it's a real compromising sort of music in a good sense. It's a music that requires all of us to work together to produce a fantastic result. And I got to tell you, for younger folks, that's quite an achievement, actually, because you're sort of what am I doing? What is my thing? And to branch out and to think about the other guy or girl in this situation is a very, very laudable way to be as a musician and as a human being. So you're gonna really hear this on this next tune. It's kind of an old-fashioned tune, and in a way it really isn't. Here's Bill Holman's Ticker. included in the program. Angelina DeChristopher back there on trumpet. We should have had an insert for Angelina and for Benito. He's coming out now in a little bit. Here, sorry about that. I missed that one. And even worse than that, Kyle Hernandez is going to come on in a little while and play a little trumpet as well. he didn't even make the insert, so I apologize for all that. And before I forget anything else, these concerts, I think this is the 47th concert in the last 3 weeks for commercial music. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of concerts, it's been a lot of nights here in the auditorium with the entire commercial music program. And it's just been an absolute thrill. It's been a blast to do, but all of these concerts require a lot of tech, as you can tell. Every instrument is mic'd. The whole thing's got to be mixed and go through the house and all that stuff. And it is no small task to do that. It's hard enough to mix and mic and mix a 4-piece rock band. But this is 17 people up here all playing a different part. And then so who's been doing that all week, and for every concert but one since this whole thing started is in the back right there. Please give a huge round of applause for Ari Sepulveda. And the head of everything that happens in Schaefer, nothing gets by him. He's the Lord of the manor here, so to speak. Running lights tonight, I think, in the back. That's Ross Mather, everybody back there. And finally, we have an amazing commercial music faculty and music faculty in general at this university. But thankfully, a couple of years ago, I got a wingman and somebody to start doing a lot of the lifting. And we were just talking in the green room before we came out about how much things have changed over the last few years, and a major reason for that is this person that we brought on to really run half of the ship here. And I've known him since the late 1950s. It feels like we've known each other for a long time. We had the same teachers, and we are incredibly fortunate to have him on faculty here. I kind of think he just walked in the building. That's Todd Walker there in the back over there. So I think this next tune needs a little bit of an introduction. The great Klaus Ogerman produced one of the great jazz records of all time called Cityscapes, right? That's the name of the album. And this tune, Hector found this tune and he said he's been studying the saxophone player named Michael Brucker. And he said, hey, could I maybe arrange that for a big band? Because on the original record, it's for rhythm section and orchestra. It's all string. And I said, of course. And so he brought in a version of it and workshopped it a little bit, and he took it away and he brought it back, workshopped it and he took it away and brought it back. And has really come up with just a heck of an arrangement on this great tune, and also he gets to play a little saxophone on it. So we hope you enjoy it. Here's Night Wings. as you can tell, my original intention for the concert this semester was to make them all big swingers. So, you know, the Count Basie band, Duke Ellington, or all that stuff. And we were partially successful in doing that. And one of the things that happened because of that is we ran into a lot of Frank Sinatra, which, you know, there are worse things in the world. And so sometimes I ask the students to bring up, what tune would you like to do? And the next singer said, I want to do That's Life by Frank Sinatra. I said, really? He said, yeah, it'd be great. It'll be a blast. And I said, okay. So, here to sing That's Life, please welcome to the stage Will McCoy, everybody. Well, we might as well continue then, I guess. Last night, Dr. Walker mentioned that the classic record, Sinatra at the Sands, is one of the most swinging, best recorded big band records of all time. Recorded in 1964, amazingly, and listen to it now and it sounds like it was recorded yesterday, in the best studio in the world. That's how good the Basie band was. That's how amazing Frank Sinatra was when they performed. Their level of detail and how much fun they made it all sound, both at the same time, was unparalleled. To this day, it's as good as it gets. So we're going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about getting this next singer married. Make sure that he makes it all the way to the chapel. You're here to sing Get Me to the Church on Time. Please welcome Jack Kovachuck, everybody. We forgot to, as I mentioned earlier, I've been here for 27 years. This goes back to my first year directing the ensemble. I always screw up the program, no matter how many times I look at it. I don't know what it is. It's something wrong. It's clinical or something with that. And so, that good-looking guy on the end of the trumpet row right there, that's Kyle Hernandez, everybody. Welcome to So finding music for this band is a really fun journey every semester with figure out what we want to do. And since Hector was exploring Michael Brecker, we thought that we might explore the Brecker brothers. Michael Brecker's brother, Randy Brecker, who's still with us. Michael died tragically a few years ago, but Randy Brecker is still with us. And the two of them were real pioneers in jazz history back in the 1970s and into the 1980s, and then until Michael died. They were pioneering a style of jazz fusion with their band, the Brecker Brothers, and this tune is representative of that. And then, one of the big bands that we really like is the West German big band, the WDR band. Is there still West German? And the arranger of this is the great Vince Mendoza, one of the great arrangers of all time. But if the WDR band records a tune, and you can go online and see all this stuff, nobody else is supposed to play it. So can you guys all keep quiet that we have this tune? Because Vince Mendoza, I contacted him. I said, "Is there any way to do this?" And he said, "Yeah, but don't tell anybody that I gave it to you." So this just stays in this room right here that we're going to do this classic Brecker Brothers tune. Here's our Brecker Brothers right here, Hector and Dave Alvarado. I hope you enjoyed. This is Randy Brecker's Sponge. cool. Trumpets are going to hold up their hand. Those that are graduating, the trumpets are going to hold up their hands now. So, are you graduating? Hold up your hands. And Will McCoy is also graduating this semester back here. You know, the person that does sound for us a lot during all of our rehearsals have to have sound and all that stuff, and you know, you have to set everything up every single day, and you have to tear it all down every single day, and it's a lot. It's not like a string quartet walks in the room and a couple of musicians and the person that's been doing that for us all year, other than two of them, but really the person that's taking point on that is in the wings over here. So, Pietro, can we get you to come on out here? Another really cool thing about this time of year is that the person who had this job before me is Dr. Richard Wells, and he gives a scholarship to a deserving person in this ensemble every year. And the first year that he did it, I think he gave 2. And then the next year maybe he gave 3 or something like that. This year, here's how many he gave. And when I call your name, scholarship winners, I want you to stand up. So, yeah, Trump is ready to get squat down. So, is there a Wyatt Starcher in the house? Wyatt Starcher. Sarah Olszewski on bass. Benito Calantone. Bobby Cornelius. Hector Hernandez. Zaire Nunez. Antonio Santiago. Laura Wessler. Nick Pence. Julie Solano. Angelina De Christopher. Alec Ruby. Are there singers out there? Dana Delano. Julian Sanchez. And Jack Kovacic. All of these students are getting a $1,800 scholarship from Richard Wells this year. Let's have a big hand for Richard Wells. Right, geez, that took a while. So she was just out here, but let me make things a little neater here. Talk about yourself.
Another round of applause for those scholarship recipients.
So like I said, the WDR band is one of our favorites, and we heard another arrangement of a tune written by the great Burt Bacharach. How do we keep the music playing? I just fell in love with the arrangement, so again, I asked if we could play it, and I was given permission, and it's a beautiful, it's a great ballad. Listen closely to the lyrics a little bit, and if you don't choke up, more power to you. Here to perform How to Keep the Music Playing, here's Jillian Sanchez, everybody. an amazing record called Bridges. And I thought, you know, it'd be great to do one of the arrangements on that tune, but there's no big band arrangement for it. So Julian, right here, said, I'll do it. And I'll write an arrangement of that great tune. And boy, did he ever. It's an amazing effort from an undergraduate. So I hope you enjoyed here to sing the great Peter Gabriel tune, In Your Eyes. Please welcome Dana Delano, everybody.
I get so lost sometimes.
world. And the arranger for the band is one of the singers, and he also is a tenor player by trade, a guy named Darwin Meter, writes these very tricky, really interesting arrangements on tunes that we all know. So you all know this tune, you all know how it goes. On a clear day, you can see forever. But how Darwin treats it and how he molds it into something that's perfect for the New York Voices is really, really cool. It's really a fun thing to watch and tell a story. So please, I'm not going to introduce them all. Please welcome back to the stage these fantastic singers to sing On a Clear Day, everybody. Yikes. John Coltrane was one of the giants in jazz history, died at a tragically young age, through no fault of his own, really. But during his search, when he was alive, one of the things that he was trying to figure out was how to divide the octave in different ways. And there's two ways to divide the octave symmetrically. The octave is eight pitches. And so one is through minor thirds, and one is through major thirds. In European music, the chord changes move according to the interval of a fourth. Bum, bum, that's the interval, which you've all heard forever. That interval. And Coltrane said, you know what? How about we do that, but we do it with major thirds instead of the fourth, like that. And he came up with a tune, came up with two tunes. You guys know the other one? I'm telling you that. Marcus Polka down there, everybody. So, and in the tune Giant Steps, and it is ever since proved one of the, it's a real watch this if you can improvise over Giant Steps. And we just got this arrangement, and we're going to have we're going to have 5 horn players solo over it, and Wyatt is going to play a little bit too. We just got this from our friend Jamie Simmons, who teaches at Middle Tennessee University. Dr. Walker and I went to college with him, one of the great arrangers in the country. And he just sent me an email, and this was attached, and he said, "Hey, give your saxophones a little bit of a workout." And the band was bugging me.
Thank